Hello, welcome to the Weekly Edition. I'm Tania Rowland, founder of the Side Hustle Institute. So each week I jump onto Facebook Live and share some business building tips, entrepreneurial mindset hacks, anything that I'm picking up or hearing from our community that I think would be valuable for the team. So today I'm going to share 12 free tech tools that I use a lot that I think would be really helpful for you in building your online business. There's actually a couple more than 12, and some of the categories I've got a few more details. So welcome, and before we jump into the training, let me just introduce myself a little bit if you're not familiar with who I am. So yes, I'm the founder of the Side Hustle Institute, and my background is a corporate background. I worked for many years in marketing for big multinationals, managed budgets from $1 million to very little, and really had a desire to work for myself. And so in my corporate role, where I was head of digital for a multinational, I started to build my own side hustle. And by doing that, I pretty much got the confidence to go out on my own. So now I run a boutique digital advisory service for corporates, and I'm launching right now the Side Hustle Institute because, I genuinely believe there is no better time for us as women to do what we really want to do. And if it's an online business, then there are so many good tools. The marketplace is ready for this. This is where we all hang. And so it's ideal that if you're in a day job right now and you really want to do something for yourself, you would rather ditch the day job, you'd like to do something that you feel uses your skills in a better way and really just make a bigger impact in the world, then I believe building a side hustle before you quit your job is a really smart move, and it worked well for me. So that's a little bit about me. At the end, I want to give you some more information about a masterclass that I'm going to be running on the 17th of March on a Saturday for those of us on New Zealand time. I will be running a masterclass on online marketing fundamentals. It's going to be a little bit different. So at the end, if you're watching the replay and you want to jump to the end to hear more, then I'll be sharing more at the end. So I have a favour to ask if you're watching live or you are watching the replay. If you're new to online marketing, you may not be aware that the way Facebook works very much right now, and I totally agree with where they're going, that they want us to, as business owners, be sharing content online and Facebook that people find valuable and they want to engage with. So out of the followers that I have, only about 2 to 6% will actually see any of my posts. And more of them will see it if you comment or let me know that you're liking what I share, because that lets Facebook know. So if you like what I share today, please add a comment, or as I'm sharing and you have questions, put something in the comments, and if I can't get to it during the session, I will jump in afterwards. Now I am going to have a download that you can grab with all the links of what I'm sharing today. So I'm just going to jump in and show you that now. I'm just going to share my screen, and if you can't hear me or there's any problems, please let me know. I dread the thought one day I'll do a whole session and nobody could hear me. So this is the download. It's very simple. It's my notes for today. I may add some extra bits in there, but what you'll get is everything that I'm going to cover with the URL links. So if you do grab this and you find it useful or the content, please just add a comment, would be brilliant. If you would like to join the community, the Side Hustle Institute community, and keep updated with what's coming, as well as to find out more about the masterclass, use the word masterclass in the comments, and in Messenger you will get added to the notification list. So I'm going to be jumping into Chrome and sharing the pages of the tools that I really like. What we're going to focus on, tools that are going to help you design, launch and grow your business. Now, I use a lot of free tools, and the ones I've chosen today are the ones that I do use a lot, but that I think are really good when you're first starting out, and that you are really helpful for you to know about. Conceptually though, as you're learning more and doing more, I think it can get quite overwhelming as you're building a business. And so there's a couple of I've got some phrases here I'd really like you to keep in mind as you're building your business. And they are, first of all, execution over perfection. I have this problem, and I think as women we often do, that we're looking to get everything right and be perfect. And you just won't. When we're first learning, what we do could be good, but we'll get better. And so your priority really is, you're better to be focusing on, how can I execute? How can I put content out there? How can I engage with my audience? And I'll get better as I go along. If your audience knows that you're growing with them, they don't expect you to be perfect either. And then the other concept is this term of minimum viable product. When you're in, say, the launch mode, and this is the mindset I have right now with the Side Hustle Institute, what's the minimum viable product? What can you provide that still is valuable but will not stop you launching or engaging? So as I show you these tools, I just don't want you to get caught up into having to know everything about them and using them to the optimum. It's about, how can these help me move quicker? How can I execute? And how can they help me create my minimum viable product? So I'm just going to jump out of sharing the Evernote and pull up Chrome. Just give me a second here. I'm just going to check something. Okay. Brilliant. I might just move this over here. Okay, so the first free tool, and it's tools actually that I think are really helpful, are from the Google platform, their suite of tools. Now on this page, and like I said, I've got all the URL links in the document. In this page, they do, a lot of these products are free and they talk about the paid package, but I'm just going to talk to the free elements. So let's talk about Gmail first of all. And a lot of you may already have a Gmail address and be familiar with Gmail, but I come across a lot of people that are not. So I'm going to start from that assumption and talk about strategy a little bit as well. Having a Gmail address is really useful. So let's think about, you've already registered your domain name and you have a website address, and you can have an email account with your domain name as part of that, the professional front end, and you want to do that. What I'm talking about here are the tools that you use in the back end. So having a Gmail address that you use to open your accounts with all the other Google platforms that you'll need to use is really helpful. And I like to have a Gmail address that I use for those platforms, and I use that email address for all the opt-ins that I do, because I don't want a lot of my other noise coming into my business email. So I have a number of email addresses, and I try to be smart about the sort of content, when I sign up for something, which inbox is it going to go into. And I'll just flag today that I'm not going to show you how to use any of these tools. With over 12 tools that I'm going to show you, we don't have time today. But I will be popping into some of these later on for training. So if you look at some of these tools and go, gee, I'd really like someone to walk me through how to use these, absolutely. Let me know in the comments, and I can shortlist those for different trainings. So get yourself a Gmail account, and don't be precious about the name, because this is a tool. It doesn't matter really what it is, because you're not going to get your name without some numbers added to it, because everybody's got Gmail email accounts. But once you get that Gmail, then you will use that to access Google Drive and Calendar if you want to use it, as well as Google Analytics and the Google Search Console. And so some of these are platforms that you will need to use, and so it's really good when all of them you use that one Gmail and you can log in really quickly. So let's talk about, actually I don't have Google Drive open, but let's talk about that first of all. As you're building a side hustle, you're going to need to be have a mindset that you need to be able to access your files on the go. So let's imagine, you're in the office, but you want to check one of, a strategy document or something for your business, for your side hustle. You want to do that from wherever you are, from either on your phone or on a browser. And also, or everything I'm showing you, I recommend that you use Chrome as your browser. Some of them require Chrome. Otherwise, some of them perform better on Chrome. So, when you're running a side hustle, you're not going to be building that during your daytime. But in your lunch break, or, when you're out and about, you might need to access files. Or in my case, when I'm traveling, and I've got my MacBook here, I don't have all my files with me. So what I do is I use different cloud-based tools for different types of notes and documents. So I definitely have files on my computer, but what I found really good is my planning tools, my goal setting tools, I put into Google Drive, and then I can always access them really quickly, particularly when I want to refresh myself about what my priorities are. The good thing about Google Drive, if you're not familiar with it, is you can create folders and you can share your files, say, with your coach, which is what I do with, my business mentor. I do my planning documents, then I send them through to my coach, and it's really easy for us to then review them. And what is also good is when you share a file in real time, you can change content in it. So get familiar with Google Drive, or think about what type of cloud-based filing system works for you and the way you work. I also use Evernote, and I'm going to talk about that and how I use it differently to Google Drive. But Google Drive is, you can get free access when you create your Gmail account, not big files, but to get you started, absolutely. Then we need to talk about, let's have a look. Okay, let's look at, and I'm just going to see, yes, you're still seeing my screen. Okay, this is what's called Google Webmaster Tools, and don't let any of this, if you're new to tech, don't let any of this put you off, because what I'm showing you, you don't need to know tech. This is why I love these tools, because you don't need to be a tech person. And when we first start our business, if we've come out of a corporate setting, we're used to having an IT person that we can get to come help us. So what I'm trying to show you is tools that you can use without needing to call an IT person. So first of all, Google Analytics. When you launch your website, you need to read all the traffic and look at your performance indicators, and Google Analytics is the tool that you'll want to do that. And so I'm going to show you a plugin that you'll put into your WordPress website to connect the two, and then you would use that Google Gmail account to access Google Analytics. When you go to publish your website, though, there's a couple of key steps that I find a lot of people miss, that Google will support you to get visibility of your website through what's called here Google Webmaster, or the Search Console. So, like I said, I'm not going to do training on these today, but when you will connect with, when you create a Google Analytics account, you get a universal analytics ID number, which is what you put into the plugin on your WordPress website. That same connection is what you then go into Search Console, and because you're using the same Gmail account, it recognizes and it connects everything together. When you go to launch a website, you need to notify Google that it's up. If you don't notify Google, it takes it a long time to recognize that you're now live and you would like traffic. That's what you use the Search Console for. You use it to notify Google that your website's up. Google then will come and read your website, and through the Search Console, it will actually tell you if there's some problems. It will tell you if it's having trouble reading the website. It'll tell you if you've got some broken links, which is really helpful when you first go live, because the longer you take to help Google to read your website, the longer it will take for it to rank it well, or to rank for search engine optimization. So Search Console is, as part of the Google tools, is really something that you want to get that Gmail account and then leverage all the Google tools. So let me just pull up the notes here on Evernote, and keeping an eye on time, let's just have a look at what we've covered so far. So in Google tools, we've got Gmail, Google Drive, Google Analytics, and the Google Search Console. So here are the notes, and here I've got the links to the pages that you need for that. So next I'm going to talk about Evernote. So I'm starting with really your planning and productivity tools that I find useful. I'm just going to take a little drink here. Now, I can't see at the moment if anybody is live or leaving comments. My phone's in for repair today, so I'm on one screen. But remember, if you would like to join the Side Hustle Institute community or get some more information about the masterclass that I'm running on the 17th of March, put masterclass in the comments or just leave me a comment if you're finding this useful. So let's talk about Evernote. Now, just looking at my tabs that are open, looks like I didn't open up Evernote, so let me just grab this URL. Pull it up. Now, like I said, all of these tools are free that I'm showing today. So a number of them will refer to paid options, but I'm talking about that when you first start, you can use certain features for free and good features. So I love Evernote, and I use it differently to how I use the Google Drive for files. And I do have a paid account, but even, I started with the free version of Evernote. So Evernote is where, and I'm just going to scroll through their page, where you can take notes, you can clip pages from the web if you would like to store them and refer to them later. How I use Evernote is for note taking, and if I'm writing a blog article or somewhere where I need to do that sort of work, I like to store it in Evernote. And why do I like Evernote? You can create folders within Evernote, so depending on the type of content, you can categorize it, and you can easily access your files across your phone and on your computer. And they also have a browser access, but also an app access on your computer. So I find the interface really useful and great for storing. So different to Google Drive, where I like that for my planning tools, but I find it not so useful on the go on my phone. So when you want to capture ideas and, like I say, write your blog articles, and I do use it for clipping from the internet, I find, the interface very useful. So like all of these things, you sort of need to try them yourself and see what works, and you will use a bit of each for different things. So in the free version, you can see you can sync across 2 devices, and you get, a pretty decent amount of storage when you first start for free. So you can integrate your Google Drive with Evernote. So you can actually take documents into Evernote and then access them easily in, from your Google Drive. So there's actually a lot of features in the paid account I'm still not optimizing, but really like Evernote. So just having a look here. Okay, WordPress. Now, I am a fan of, I use WordPress for my websites. I'm talking about WordPress that is the free version. There are 2 versions of WordPress, and people, it's very easy to get confused about them. So I'm just going to pull up this website. I'm talking about WordPress.org. So when you are building your website, I highly recommend that you prioritize looking at WordPress.org. It is free. I would recommend use a paid theme to get started, and I do recommend Divi, that is paid. But WordPress is used by 29% of web users across the planet, and not just bloggers and online marketers. You've got people like Jay-Z and Beyonce using it, the New York Times, number of you've got Bloomberg here, so you can see Vogue. So you'd be quite surprised how, websites can look really good on WordPress. So love that, because you can start, if you don't want to buy a theme to start with, I started with one of the WordPress themes and get up and running really quickly. I, though, then had to redo my website, so this is why I'd suggest a paid theme, but WordPress.org, we've got to love so many free tools to get us started building our business. Okay, so let's talk about plugins for your WordPress website. So what's a plugin? A plugin is in your theme that creates the front end of your website and how it looks, and then you want it to have certain functionality. You want it to do certain things like capture email addresses or security features and back-end tools. So I'm just going to cover a couple that I really like that you need to know about when you first start. So this one here is Monster Insights, which is the plugin you'll use to connect your Google Analytics account with your WordPress website. And it's really easy. You create your Google Analytics account, you will put in your URL into Google Analytics, and it will give you that universal analytics code. It's a number, very simple. You will install the plugin on your WordPress website. You will then install that number and it will tell you if they're connected, and now your data from your website will appear in your Google Analytics account. So no technology required. No, you don't need to be a coder. And then the other plugin that you would want to have as a priority one when you first set up your website is a Yoast SEO plugin. Here they talk about a premium version, but you can start with their free one. So what does that do? So Yoast is one of the most highly regarded plugins. They have a couple of other ones, but particularly for SEO, so search engine optimization. It will help you as you create blog posts and create your website. It'll help you tell you what maybe isn't so good that you're doing, and it will also give you some visibility about things and the way they look on Google search. So for example, and if you're thinking, crikey, what is a keyword? Then let me know in the comments, and those are the sort of things I can do training on. When Google reads your website, it's looking at a number of variables, and keywords are what it identifies as words, and it says, okay, that's what the website's about. So you might have decided, for example, my keyword on my website might be side hustle. People are Googling side hustle. Is that word getting read well? And can Google read it? And does it rank for that word? So you can actually put in a keyword and it will tell you how well you've optimized it on that page. This is really handy. When you go to Google and you search for something and you get a preview of the website content, that doesn't happen automatically. You have to do certain things for you to get a nice preview. So it's going to show you that preview and have you got it looking good, and a number of other things that you want to focus on. So it's very simple and helps you out. And just like the previous plugin, the integration is done through your Google Analytics account, so very easy to do. All right, I've got quite a few here, so I'm going to fly through some of these. Okay, we're going to talk about MailChimp now. So as an online marketer, this is the phrase we use: the money is in your email list. When you're engaging with your audience online, and you're on Facebook and other platforms, those are owned by those, Facebook owns their platform, and they can kick you out or shut you down or restrict your access to your customers. So even though those are fantastic platforms, you want to bring them closer to the way they can communicate with you and have direct access. And one of the best ways you do that is email. So even though we're all overwhelmed with email, it's still one of our best tools. So MailChimp has the ability to have a free way to gather those emails, and up to 2,000 people you can have a free account. Now there's lots of accounts, there's a number of free tools, but I'm showing you the ones that I love and trying to help you get yourself set up really quickly. So what are the things that MailChimp offers you? And they keep enhancing what they can do. So it's pretty impressive. Let me just take a drink here. Okay, so, and again, you can use a plugin on your WordPress website for MailChimp to connect your accounts. So people can sign up through a couple of different mechanisms, and you can create your list. So you can capture an email list on MailChimp. So that's the most simple thing. But what you can do with those lists as well is segment them. So let's say you have some different advertising or different offers. You can put them into different lists so you know what they're more interested in. So then when you communicate with them, you're a little bit more relevant to what they're interested in. So segmenting or breaking down your list is useful. They offer automation. So when you have a free account to start with, you do get access to automation straight away. So what is automation? When you sign up for one of my free courses right now on, I've got a course on a website roadmap for beginners, so how to build your website, then you get a series of emails from me talking you through some of the content on that course, and that is automated, so I can sequence that. So if somebody first goes on your list, you want to welcome them, and you might want to do a series of emails, and they work really well. So automation is a really great tool. So you get that free to start with. And then they've recently added in something else that is also free as well. I'm just going to see where it is on the page. No, it's not quite there. They are offering landing pages. So they sort of, this is an example of a landing page. So different to your website, if you're new to online marketing, what a landing page is a one page where it has, the focus is on one thing on the page. When we send people to our website, that can be great because we can give them lots of information, but they can get distracted. So we like a landing page when we want to keep them focused on one outcome. So MailChimp is offering, if you're able to access, landing pages for free. Two types of landing pages. One is to go on an email list, and another one is more of what they're calling an e-commerce page if you're selling something, but actually you can use it. You can rejig it, and their interface is really easy. So I really like MailChimp, and I know some big email mailing houses, agencies that work with big companies, and they use MailChimp. It's a very good tool. Okay, what else have we got here? Okay, I'm going to talk about Buffer now. And if you're liking or finding this useful, please let me know in the comments. And if, like I said, there are any of these platforms that you would like more detailed training, then let me know, because I can jump in and do that in different sessions. So Buffer is a tool for posting social media content. That can be really good because when we're building our side hustle, we've got a day job, we're short on time. So if you can imagine in a, you pick one day and a weekend for the month ahead, and you do all of your social posting, you schedule them, then you can use a tool like Buffer. And Buffer will integrate with Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and I haven't used it for Instagram. I use another platform, but looks like they've added an Instagram as well. So very easy tool to use, and I'd recommend that. So now I'm going to talk about Bitly. When you have your URL address, quite often they're really long. You may not want to use the whole URL address, and you may want to shorten it. And so you can use shortening tools, and Bitly's one of those. So this is where you put in your URL address that you want to shorten, and it will do it. But if you create an account, a free account, it does a couple of other things that are fantastic. It will also track where the clicks are coming from. So getting visibility on your metrics is really important. So it's really quite helpful that if you have put a link to any of your content or to a web page on Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook or in your maybe email, you want to see, well, where do these clicks come from? And so Bitly will actually share that with you in a free account. So very powerful tool for free. Okay, now I'm going to talk about Canva. And I'm in my account right now because Canva's front page doesn't tell you anything, and I do use the paid version of Canva, but the free version's fantastic. So as an online marketer, you're going to need to create your collateral, your assets, your visual tools. And if you're able to use Photoshop, then you probably won't use Canva. But I don't want you to get overwhelmed with learning complex tools if there are some that make your life really easy. And Canva's one of them. So Canva is fantastic, even with the free account, where it already has sized the different social type of posts you might use. And sometimes they're not 100% perfect, but most of the time they are. And they will, I'll just show you here. So let's say you needed to create a Facebook post, then you would click on here, and I'll just quickly do this so you can see what happens. So it gives you some free templates you can grab and then change the colors to anything you need. You can add text. You can have different imagery that you've uploaded. So the great thing that I like about it, in the paid version, I think this is why I've got it, I can put my content into different buckets. And there are some paid elements that you can grab, like $1 for an image, and you can use it many times. But there is a lot in the free side. So I won't show you anymore. It's very tempting to jump into Canva, but this is one that I might do a training on, because it really is a fantastic resource, even with the free account, for creating your imagery. So another tool that I really like, that I use a lot, is Pocket. Now, what Pocket is that when you are on a web page and you want to keep it for later, you can put them in Evernote, but I find this really useful for those quick grabs. So pretty much, if you can see here, is my Pocket, and I click on that, and then I can save the page to Pocket, but I can also add tags so I can find my pages later, which makes it a lot easier. So, I have a really bad habit of needing, having too many tabs open, and so one way for me to then save things is using Pocket. Okay. Imagery. So as online marketing, we need to have fantastic imagery, and there are a number of very good stock photo websites that you can get some free photos, imagery, and sometimes, you'll pay. I'm just showing you my favorites today. So Unsplash is one that I use a lot. And yes, I love the imagery. They have a lot of contributors, a lot of different styles. You can search really well. But one of the other reasons I like it in the free account is that you can also create folders to put your images by categorization. I just think we're so fortunate how many free tools are out there. And so, often when people on these platforms say, can you make a contribution? I really do, because I think, I'm very grateful for what we can get access to. And this is why I think when we're building our side hustles, building our online businesses, there is no better time, because there are so many tools for us to do this. My next free tool that I like is from a company called CoSchedule, and it's a headline analyzer. So we need to start to get good at copy. There will come a time where you'll pay for copy. Copy is very important on your communication, whether it's website, email. But initially, you'll probably start out doing it yourself, and you'll need to be pretty good, get better over time anyway. So we know headlines are really important, and there's some, secret sauce to making them great. So I'll just show you here. If I put in free tech tools to grow your business, let's say that was my headline. I'll actually say online business. Hopefully it's still got my account open here. This has just told me that this has a score of 67. And so it's telling me it's pretty generic. It has one power word, one emotional word, which is good, some common words. So it's not a bad headline, but it could be better. So this is a great, you don't have to take it as gospel, but it's a great place to start to get a feel for your headlines on your adverts or your email subject line and things like that. So great free tool. So now I'm going to talk about some Chrome plugins. So I said at the start that everything I'm suggesting, I'd suggest you use on Chrome. So I mentioned keywords at the start about Google being able to read your website well. And if you do my free course on building your website, one of the things I talk about is search engine optimization and keywords and some of the basics in keywords. And I share this tool. This is a plugin that will tell you very quickly for free whether the words that you're using on your website or in your copy is used, how often is it used for people to search for? Are they popular words? So I'm just going to show you, hopefully you can see this. If I go to Google, actually, free tech. Let's see if I Google free tech. That plugin that I've put in Chrome is this bit here. It's told me that how many search results there are for that. And I can actually adjust this tool to my location, and you can then change it to other countries. But it also tells me, so here, from a New Zealand point of view, not many words per month, and the competition is not that high. So it tells me I have a very quick view within Google, but also when you use the tool on its own page, you can actually put in up to, I think it's 5 keywords, and it will tell you whether they are, how often they're searched for on Google. So it's a very quick way to do some keyword research. And like I said, it sits here in my browser, so I can access it very quickly. So another tool when you first start out that you'll use a lot, I used to use this a lot, I still use it, but not as much because I have my branding done now, but this is a tool you'll use for your branding. It's called ColorZilla. and it sits in your browser. Like I've got mine, here it is here. So what ColorZilla is let's say you're on a web page and you really like a color and you'd like to know what that color code is, and then put it in a different tool if you're creating your color palette. So you click on ColorZilla and then you put the little dropper on the page and it will tell you the color code for that color, so you can quickly use other websites for inspiration for colors and see what they're using and grab the hex code for the color. Right, got a bit over time today, but hopefully you don't mind, because nearly through all the free tools, and hopefully that you're finding them useful. So another tool that I use, a free element, is called Grammarly, and this works when I'm in Word or I'm anywhere in Facebook, and it will actually tell me when I've got a grammatical error or spelling error. It can be a little bit annoying sometimes on some pages, so you can switch it off on some web pages, but it's really good to just prompt you and pick up some grammar or spelling issues. So really, really good tool. I really like Grammarly. Use that a lot. So let's have a look at my list here. Oh, we're at the bottom. Fantastic. Okay, there was a lot of free tools there today. Okay, so let's turn off my sharing screen. Let's go here. Oh, look, somebody gave me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Thank you. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to put the link to the Evernote file in the comments, and you'll get the URLs. Like I said at the start, if you found this really useful today, I'd love it if you leave me a comment, because then Facebook knows that you'll like what I'm sharing, and it rewards me with more of you seeing, these posts, so you don't miss what we're doing over here at the Side Hustle Institute. Now, I promised at the end I would talk about the online, the masterclass I've got coming up on the 17th of March, and it's going to be a little bit different, so I'm excited to share this with you. I am going to do a masterclass. So a masterclass is longer than an hour. It'll be a masterclass, and I'm going to focus on online marketing fundamentals that will help you with building your strategy and knowing what provides success with online marketing. It's not the magic formula, but if you know some of the fundamentals, it really does help you get your head around how you approach building your business online and building your plan and your strategy. So I'm going to do a full class. I'm going to go through a number of those things and my advice with planning your business and what to be mindful of. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it in a pop-up Facebook group. So what that means is prior to the Saturday, maybe about a day before, you'll have a chance, because it's in a private Facebook group, to maybe throw up any questions, frustrations you're having with, kickstarting your side hustle from the marketing point of view, or if you're already underway, what you're finding frustrating. And then I have a bit of a feel for where your head's at. And then during the masterclass, I can, you can jump in live and ask questions, but you can even ask questions beforehand. What I'm also going to do is leave that group open for a number of days, and then we can, as a community, talk backwards and forwards. So anything that I've shared that you weren't quite sure on or you'd like more advice on, we can do some real-time mentoring coaching within that group. And in a sense, you'll get a bit of a feel for what it's like if you join the Side Hustle Institute membership, which I'll be launching at that time. So I really want you to get a feel for not only the training I can give you, but what it'd be like to get real-time access to me and a community of like-minded women around you as well. So if you are interested in that, I will be opening up the registration page in the next few days, but you can put masterclass in the comments, and that will let me know that you're interested in that, and you'll get on the list, and then I can send you the registration page through Messenger. So thank you. I was sharing a lot today. If you're watching the replay, thank you for taking the time. And, if I know someone jumped on live before, so thank you. I know it's not always easy to jump on these things in real time. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week on the weekly edition, so I will let you know on the page, and anything that is on your mind that you'd like me to cover, please let me know. So have a great week. Hope you make the most of your weekend building your side hustle, and we'll talk soon.